1 year of ownership of the Yanmar TL100 track skid steer. You guys want to know what this thing's about? You want to know how tough it is? You want to know all the cool features? A year after we bought it, what we think, how it failed, how it succeeded. This is that video. I want to give you guys perspective on this machine now that we've owned it for a year. I think we're the only YouTube channel out there that actually owns this machine and has put it to work for a year now. So I want to give you guys a review. This is the Yanmar TL100 VS. So it is a track skid loader, or compact track loader as it's called in the industry. It's 103.5 horsepower. It's got obviously a Yanmar engine in it because it is a Yanmar machine. Comes in at just over 10,000 pounds, between 10,000 and 10,500. So let's get started and kind of walk you guys through what I think. This machine has been really amazing for my company for a number of reasons. It's just big. It's much larger than the machine that we were using before, and nothing against the John Deere 317. It's been a great, little machine for us, but the bucket on this is twice the volume capacity, and so obviously it just carries more material. And when we're doing driveway work or really anything, land clearing, this thing has the weight and the power with that 103.5 horsepower to get done what we want to get done. In fact, if you put this thing in aggressive mode and you're not good, you could get yourself in trouble. A couple of other things that I really love and enjoy about it is that it's got, suspension. This is an ASV machine with some heavy duty upgrades to it, and then they slap the Yanmar, paint and emblem on it. So it's got that ASV suspension. And for what we do, we're not on a city job site every day, right? We're driving over logs, we're going over rocks. When you're in a machine that's rigid, like maybe a Kubota or a John Deere, and you're doing some of the things that we do, you literally can throw your back out by the end of the day. So day after day working in this machine has been very pleasant when I'm in it, which is not as often as Bobby, the dirt punisher. Woo! And some of the other guys, but they'll share with you the same thing. If we have to track this thing a quarter mile down the road from one driveway job to the other, it's like riding in a Cadillac. So there are some downsides to that as far as trying to flat grade, but if you're good like Bobby is, then you can work through it. All right, so as you can see here, the proof, this is the TL100 VS Yanmar, and so I want to talk a little bit about the way it operates. This thing has tons of power. I mean, you can go into a pile. You can watch a bunch of our videos and see me going into a pile that's frozen ground, and it just has power for days. I mean, it'll just burn the tracks clean off of it, so you kind of have to watch out for that. I think that's typical on the bigger machines, but here's the thing. This machine versus, for example, the Kubota, which is in the same class, the 95, the Kubota has less horsepower and is 1,000 pounds heavier. This thing, for its weight class, is on the lighter side, so you think about your fuel burn, the wear and tear on the mechanics of the machine are going to be less just because it's lighter, but it has more power than you'd ever need for that 10,300, 10,500 pounds. A couple other things I'll share with you is we've had some jobs where we've had to take dirt from one pile and track that dirt, I don't know, let's call it 300 yards plus away, which is pretty long track. You're getting into kind of front end loader territory on that, or excavator to dump truck. But we chose to use this machine because it does have the very large bucket, take that dirt and track it to where it needed to go. And because this machine has what's called ride control, you can separate the machine from the flotation of the arms. And so when you have a heavy bucket and you're going over ground, it can beat you to death. You can really tip the machine over. But on this one, because it has the torsion suspension, your ride is much better and the arms are moving independently of the machine. So it was no big deal at all. We didn't have to go rent or buy a front end loader for that particular job because this thing thing absolutely nailed it on that job. A couple of features that I've hit on a couple times that I just want to really reiterate is this ASV track system, but it's been made heavy duty. So now it's got all steel parts in it. So it's not that ASV polymer, which if you talk to guys who have ASVs, they either love them or they hate them. But this is a really good mixture because you do get the torsion suspension, but you also get the heavy duty steel rollers, track system. It's really great. You can see here, the visibility is absolutely insane.
Oh my.
I mean, it's just all glass, which has been fantastic, especially when you got that wide bucket. You can look out and you can really see the corners and exactly what you're trying to do. There were a few complaints early on when, if you'll click up here on our first video when we bought this machine and we did a walk around on it. There were some complaints that the windshield washer fluid reservoir in front of your feet on the very low part of the door was somehow going to get in the way of seeing the bucket. And I can promise you, after a year of operating this thing, me nor any of my guys have ever had any issue with that. You look right over the top of it with the glass that you see on the side. I mean, the glass comes all the way down here, so you can see the edge of that bucket, no problem. Couple other features that I would say is the hydraulic settings you can choose if you have a newer operator, and I know a lot of machines have this, but this one's really nice. You just get in, choose moderate, and it's good for a guy like me, Bobby the Dirt Punisher. Woo! Who is one of the best in a skid steer, gets in, pops the aggressive button, all's over but the crying. It all has tons of seat adjustments. Everything adjusts, so your controls move up and down for whatever your comfort level is, and all you do is flip one little toggle switch, move it, boom, lock it right in. It's fantastic. The thing I love about this is the owner, is the way it looks, man. This thing is so sick because it sits so high up. If you look at where this machine sits on the bottom, you have tons of clearance, and the tracks just sit so wide, and with 103, almost 104 horsepower, you just feel like you're in a freaking monster truck. I mean, you just feel invincible in this. It's fantastic. So I know that's more of like an emotional little boy kind of a feeling.
Wait a minute.
But I gotta tell you, this thing's got plenty of power, plenty of ground clearance, and again, it rides like a Cadillac. All right, I wanna get into a lot of honest points with you guys about the serviceability and maintenance of this machine. You know, every machine out there has its thing or things, and this is no stranger to that, I guess I would say. But let me give you some of the high points, and then we can get into some of the, I don't know if I call them low points, but things we've just had to work through on the machine. So a lot of the high points is, you know, or one of the high points is you can see this thing opens wide up, it butterflies, whatever you want to call it. But you can see, I mean, the competitors really in this class of machine, like a Kubota, for example, in the same price range, you don't have the flexibility or the ability to access by moving the radiators and the coolers out of the way. A lot of these companies are coming out with that now because Yanmar did it, and so they're feeling the pressure to do that. I think this was one of the first. I'm probably wrong on that, but that's okay. The serviceability of this machine is fantastic. You got your DEF here, your fuel is right in front of the door. Check your oil right here. The lid pops up if you want to clean anything. Your air filter's right here. The serviceability, I mean, it couldn't be better, to be honest with you guys. The maintenance of this thing, we're now getting to our second service interval at 500 hours on this machine, so we put some pretty good hard hours on it. And really all we've had to do is change our fuel filters, air filter, oil. So the machine is very serviceable. I mean, you can see it just opens wide up. I was just digging some dirt out back of this thing because we like to scoop up dirt when we go in reverse. Okay. And it's popping right out and coming right out. I don't really see any places on this machine that gather dirt that are bothersome, that are gonna cause a future problem. I know a lot of manufacturers out there do have that issue. Trees, dirt, things fall into places. We haven't really found those little cubby holes. If we find some, I'll let you know. As far as breakdowns, I'm gonna say no breakdowns other than issues that have arisen, like I said, from this being sort of a brand new model, some new design features. A couple of those things are the bolts on the torsion suspension were backing out. Easy fix, just a little of that red stuff.
Yeah, boy.
That Loctite, boom, it fixed the issue, at least to this point. And that was all done for free under warranty by our local service company, Riverbend Equipment here in Colorado. They are fantastic. Dealers make all the difference in the world, and Riverbend here in Colorado, they're great guys, and they're very responsive. I mean, you're not ever waiting more than a day to have them come out and fix things. One other thing that happened is the engine mount bolts seem to be backing out on us. I don't know if that was a new design feature they had on this machine and the engineers didn't account for something, but they've come out, they fixed that, and that seems good to go. There's just a couple other minor things like the prong that on the door that tells the machine if the door's open or closed. Seems like maybe at the factory when they plugged that in, one of the little prongs got bent, so that was just straightened out. We haven't had any problems with it whatsoever since then. So overall, I think from a serviceability, maintenance standpoint, this machine's been fantastic. Any issues that we have had have been fixed immediately by our local dealer. So I would say, you know, on this machine, really just like any other machine, keep the dang thing clean. You know, I mean, you're getting dirt in there, especially if you're in an environment like we are where you can have huge temperature swings. If you start getting wet mud in your machine, wet road base, and at night it freezes and expands, it can cause problems. It can cause real problems. So just keep the machine clean. We've done a pretty good job of doing that. At least, you know, the major things, we're not overly concerned with the cosmetic view. You know, it's not a show machine. We're not taking it to Vegas or anything. But we try to keep the main things clean so we don't have issues. Keep the tracks clean, keep the track rails clean the best that you can. But we haven't had any major issues because of something that we didn't do right or we didn't clean or anything like that. It's a Husky machine. If you're wanting to compare this to a John Deere or a Caterpillar, I would say feel free to do that. It is a strong, solid machine with a very strong, reliable powerhouse. So I've shared with you guys my opinions on the machine. I've operated it a bit, but nowhere close to Bobby, otherwise known as the Dirt Punisher. Woo! And by the way, we're thinking about coming out with some t-shirts for the Dirt Punisher. Woo! Let you guys buy some of those. They're gonna be pretty cool. But anyway, I think on this particular machine, Bobby has the most hours in this. He's also really our lead operator, and because I want this video to be of great value to you guys, anytime you go out to buy something that's $100,000 plus piece of equipment, I really wanna give you guys the full story. So you've heard what I have to say about it. From the owner's perspective, I want you to hear from our lead operator and see what he has to say about it. So here's the Dirt Punisher. Woo!
So we're here to talk about the power of the Yanmar TL100. It's very powerful for its size. It will push just about anything I put in front of it. I haven't had no problems with that. Traction's amazing. Got fat tracks that just keep us moving. And the best part is even with its big size, the maneuverability is spot on. You can spin right on a dime. It'll move wherever you want it. And the responsiveness of the controls are phenomenal. So the speed and accuracy you can have with it is bar none. I haven't found anything else that compares to it. The fuel efficiency has been unfortunately a bit of a downside because she is a large skid. So with all that power and all that pushing, she'll consume some fuel, that's for sure. You can burn a tank in a day. The TL100 has some amazing features in it. Like I said, the heads-up display is phenomenal. I love having it up on the left side. They'll see whatever I need to see. They'll have the ride control feature when you can separate yourself from the bucket and let it carry the weight. It is such an amazing feeling. Then on top of it with torsion bars, the ride is just smooth as a Cadillac. So the operator is always comfortable inside. It is real happy on roomability. I can fit me and Bubba down at my feet.
Hey bud, what are you doing?
With him, I have plenty of room to sleep down there. Then the visibility is phenomenal. Like all the glass is great. Downside to having all that glass, you gotta wash a lot of glass all the time.
We do not care.
So, but the visibility, it's always there for you. Tons of it behind you. Plus a backup camera to give you the extra added visibility. Then even a backup mirror. Pow! to give you that extra little bit of knowing where you are. Not necessarily looking at a backup camera and a screen is just the best thing when you've looked over your shoulder or just looked through a mirror for many years.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
TL100's maintenance. I do like the availability to get to the filters and be able to change them out with ease. It's not hard to get to any of them. The whole back opens up. We've got 2 wings on the side that open up, a flap on top that opens up. So getting to all that for just the everyday quick access, it's really nice. I can get to my fuel separator like it's no problem there. The availability of parts seems to be not too bad. Whenever our foreman needs to go get parts, he can get it from the store. Our only problem is working way out here and them having only 1 location in Denver and 1 in Grand Junction, so it's a little hard out here in good old South Park. I love cheesy proofs. Some of the really handy features on the machine is some of the availability to take care of the service departments on it as an operator. I really like being able to get to my fuel filter and drain the water out of it, and it's really easy to do with access to the flaps, the air filter, all of that. Pretty easy to get to, pretty standard to get to, so you can change that out pretty quick. The pins and greasability of the machine is phenomenal. I can get to everything. And another thing, if I ever have to change a pin, the pins on that are 1 bolt, slide pin out, put pin back in, put 1 bolt in. Not gonna have to hassle a bunch of stuff, beating stuff out, none of that. Real nice, easy stuff to do. We're talking about the seat quality in the cab, of how it is for the operator and the experience for the operator. The cab is phenomenal, to be honest. That thing is like riding in a Cadillac. With the ride control, torsion bars, the comfortability of the seat, it's super squishy.
Yeah, boy.
Leather seat, it's a wonderful thing. Another thing I like, arm bar isn't a whole drop down system. Instead, it's just 1 arm bar that comes down over your lap. You can access your seatbelt nice and easy, be able to put it on. Then the room inside the cab is bar none. All of the controls are not only super responsive, they're adjustable. All the arm, where you rest your arms, can adjust up and down. The controls themselves can adjust up and down, and then they can pitch forward and back. So it's really phenomenal to be an operator inside. There's lots of room, and then the visibility is bar none. Like, there's so much glass on that bad puppy.
Holy Jesus.
You can see the back of your tracks, sides of your tracks. You can see what's behind you. Plus, with the heads-up display and having the backup camera, you get no blind spots.
Good luck, everybody else!
And then they even add a mirror on top of it with a ton of glass behind you, so you can see nice and clear. One of the biggest challenges I faced with TL100 was putting the track back on when we had it pop back off. We had a future video where you guys seen us struggling like no tomorrow with it. It is not the friendliest thing, even decompressing the tensioner on it. It gave us a lot of trouble just to put it back on. We didn't have another machine to assist us. It would have been very difficult to do. Today, to compare a couple of the skids I've ran in my past, I've ran the T66 Bobcat and the Yanmar TL100, and the comparison is just bar none. The TL100 blows it out of the water. Responsiveness on the controls being electronic over hydraulic. Normally it's a gnarly lag. With the Bobcat, it was nothing with the TL100. You get about a half a second, that's it. It's very responsive. The ride, the area in the cab is just way better. I love the armbar system because it comes down over your lap instead of taking and pulling this stupid thing all the way up over you. You can access your seatbelt, whatever's next to you without that thing in the way. It's just power, does way more work. Big thing that I would say is that Yanmar TL does eat some fuel in comparison to the T66. Me personally, I would bust out for the TL100. Even though it's bigger price tag, it's gonna do what I need it to do. Ride's gonna be better. The machine's gonna handle it a lot better. I want to talk about my overall experience with the Yanmar TL100. With power, performance, controls, rideability, this thing is a Cadillac among skids.
Perfect.
It is awesome. Downside is it's had a lot of bugs we've been working through. We've had some stuff come loose. We've had electrical problems. We've had a few things we've worked through, but it is what it is with a brand new skid. To be honest, with the way it performs, it is a phenomenal skid. I love it. And if you guys have any questions, comments, curiosities, don't be afraid to drop a comment below. Ask us about it. We've ran it for over a year now. We'll let you know anything you want to know.
We have a lot more content coming out on machine reviews, and they're not all gonna be Yanmar, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe. Let's take a quick look around the machine. The door is butterfly. You can see the two outside doors butterfly. This door butterflies. You have easy access to everything, as I mentioned. Yes, this door does open all the way up. Okay, you got your AC unit up here. One thing I want to point out to you is because of the, I don't know what you call this, a transom or pivot point, this dump height on this machine is just over 11 feet tall.
Damn!
So if you want a big skid steer and you don't want any trouble getting in a tall dump truck, we have a very tall dump truck. It's taller than average. It's a Mack 710. It's a big, tall dump truck. This thing gets in there no problem, even if the ground is lower than the dump truck. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the tracks over here. So this is that track system. This is what a lot of people would refer to as the ASV track system. You got your torsion suspension that pivots off of these, and that's what allows the whole track system to move. You can see how high the basin or the bed of this sits. Way higher than most other manufacturers. Obviously not ASV because it's very similar. This glass comes all the way down to just under the arm here. When you're working and this arm's up just a little bit, you got your bucket down, your back dragging, you can look out of the side and see it. In most machines, you're having to look out of the front window, lean forward. And this bad boy, you can sit back on a nice cushy seat, the nice cushy suspension, and have a field day. Let me show you this. This is really cool too. So the door comes off, no problem. It just comes right off of these hinges, and I know other manufacturers do that. I know the Kubota guys and Takeuchi guys love those machines because they have the roll-up door. I get it. But those doors won't vacuum seal or seal tight after that machine's got 500,000 hours of beating on it. That door rattles and starts to become very aggravating. These doors, like you have on a Yanmar, John Deere, Cat, they don't rattle and they continue to seal so that the cab is quiet and you're keeping your heat in there, your air conditioner, you might as well, you're paying for it. But this door, you just simply unplug one little switch in here and the whole thing comes off, and it's much lighter than some of the other brands. It's intended to come off. So if you're on a job site by yourself, you're alone on a job site, and you're gonna be hopping in and out, you're gonna be using your machine as a little bit of a crane, just pull the freaking door off. And then when you're done, whoop, slide it back on, plug the plug back in, and you're good to go. It's a really nice feature, because I did see a lot of comments after when I bought this machine, people saying, I'll never buy that. I like the slide up door. Okay, well you kind of get the best of both worlds. You have a nice door, very big, and you can see, like for example, on some of the machines, the inner frame is very wide. This one, that's the frame of the door, guys. That's it right there. So your visibility even out of the front door is substantially better than other door machines. So I wanted to make sure and point that out to you. Also, go back and look at our review video, our first review video when we bought this machine, and you'll see all kinds of things I'm not talking about now. And I'm doing that because I don't want to waste a lot of time. We've already talked about those features, but the foot room in this thing, it's unmatched by anyone else. Your feet can come all the way from inside the cab. This is all foot room. All of that is foot room. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh my God!
You got your guard for your cylinders. You got your high flow, all your flow here. And then this button, if you push, will relieve the pressure in your hydraulic system. And I had a lot of guys say, you don't need that. Well, you don't if you're experienced, but you put a greenhorn in this machine, he puts things on the opposite way, the wrong way, you can have a problem. You just push this button, it relieves pressure, and you're good to go. You're not stuck trying to, take hoses off or whatever the heck it is everybody does to fix that particular problem. So again, this machine, it's fantastic. We love it. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I'd recommend this machine. to a fellow small business owner. If your dealer meets your needs, it's not always just about the machine, right? So make sure and get to know your local dealer. Make sure they're not pricks or whatever. Make sure they're real good guys, and they'll make some guarantees to you about getting out, helping you get back up if something does happen, because things do happen. There's no machine that doesn't break. That's just not a reality. So make sure you're partnering with the right people on that. Again, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hey, we'll catch you on the next one.